This is a brief tutorial on how to use visual filters in Logos Bible software. I'm following the instructions given in Hall Harris's handout, using visual filters in Logos Bible software to identify major structural markers. You can find this in the course files for NT104. And so what we need to do is start by clicking on the Documents menu to create a new visual filter. An untitled visual filter appears on the right-hand side of the screen. The first thing we need to do is give this filter a name. So I'm going to call this the Big Five. And the next thing I want to do is set it so that this visual filter is based on a morphological search. So I'll click Morph. You may notice that search sentence given to you underneath the title of the visual filter is a little bit off. We want to be searching for Greek morphology rather than Hebrew. And so the easiest way to do that is to, first of all, search for, we're going to point at the part of this sentence called All Resources and click on NA28. Now this forces Logos to use Logos Greek morphology for this search. We can set this back to all resources so that any resource that uses Logos Greek morphology will follow this Big Five visual filter. My next step is to begin creating the filter, and I'm going to click in the left side of this first line, type @ That starts the morphological building codes here. I'm going to start with the verbs. I'm going to click Verb and then choose Indicative and Imperative. I'm going to leave participle and the others here, infinitive down through participle and subjunctive, off for now. When I hit Enter, now I can choose a formatting here, and I'm going to choose yellow highlighter. And you'll notice on the left side, my text of Ephesians, the verb exalexata is now selected. My next phase is to continue adding filters, so I'm going to do the participles next. Again, @ verb, and then do participle, hit Enter. Click the formatting menu, scroll down to red highlighter, and now I have my participles highlighted. This is going to result in some false positives. For instance, you can see over here in verse 1, tois ousin is a participle with a definite article, so that doesn't really match adverbial participles as a structural marker. But at least it gives us a start at very quickly being able to pick out the certain parts of speech we want. My next filter verbs that are subordinate, like subjunctives, optatives, and I'm going to choose green highlighter here. I'm also going to choose any subordinating conjunctions. I also need to set subordinating conjunctions with the same highlighting that my optatives and subjunctives will have. So for this, I'm going to do @ and then conjunction, and choose all of the adverbial conjunctions and logical, inferential, and transitional and substantival content. Substantival content will get me conjunctions like haughty, for instance. You may need to play around with these designations a little bit to see the results that you get. I'm going to choose the same highlighting color. My next phase is to choose pronouns, and in particular I'm interested in relative pronouns. So essentially what we have here are the structural markers that'll get us part of the way towards making a good structural layout. Once I'm done creating the filter, I'm going to click the X button up here on the tab for this window. And then to enable the visual filter, if you aren't seeing what you just created actually on screen like we see it here on the left-hand side of my window, you may need to adjust your settings in the Visual Filters menu to the right of the address bar. You will have to scroll down to Visual Filters and turn that on by clicking in the box next to it and then click Big 5. If I turn that off, of course, it disappears. But if I click it on again, the filters reappear.